All right, the president has arrived on Capitol Hill. It looked like he was with Wyoming Senator Barrasso, also Mitch McConnell, the Senate leader. All 52 Republican senators are there, including, I'm told, John McCain. We don't know where this stands right now, but it's a push to get their votes for tax cuts that could happen as soon as this weekend. The Independent Women's Forum's Hadley Heath Manning, conservative commentator, Allie Stuckie. Allie, where do you think it stands? I know the two certain no votes right now. It's Senator Dane of Montana, Senator Johnson of Wisconsin over business treatment. But besides them, a lot of antsy ifs. How does it look to you?
You know, there's a lot of negative aspects of this plan, obviously, as many Republicans have voiced and about all Democrats have voiced. But there does seem to be more of a spirit of optimism and cooperation than there was on, say, the health care bill. So I am very positive and optimistic that this is going to move forward. However, I do think that some Republicans have brought up legitimate concerns. But we'll see what President Trump can do. He is, you know, the deal maker. We'll see what he can do here.
He might be the deal maker, but his timing sometimes can be a little less than perfect, especially with this tweeting campaign, targeting as he has the two top Democrats. That's one thing, but he has targeted some of those Republicans in that room meeting with him today as well. Hadley, how do you think that's going to go with the Corkers and the McCains and the Flakes?
I think the president has a very important role to play here, maybe internally as a negotiator, as a deal maker, but also externally. We can look back at President Obama's term in office. He was very good at communicating to the public from his bully pulpit the benefits of what his agenda would bring for people across, income levels and across America. And we can, agree or disagree with his agenda or agree or disagree with some of the points he made, like if you like your plan, you can keep it. But President Trump can go to the American people as well and say, this is how this is going to benefit you. This is how I'm looking out for you. And many Americans would appreciate hearing from him on that subject.
You know, Allie, that is sort of assuming the role of the Gipper, what Ronald Reagan did to sell tax cuts not once but twice in 81 when he first became president, 86 when he had the real reform that dramatically changed the tax code. This is nothing approaching that, but it is dramatically lowering corporate rates, some for individuals, not as much. How is this going to be received, assuming the Republicans will get this through and done, by average Americans? Because sometimes, I always see the rush to get something done. Be careful what you wish for. Americans might chew on it and get annoyed. What do you think?
Well, Republicans haven't set themselves up very well for this. They desperately have to prove that they can govern. I think that's probably their biggest issue here, is how they're going to be able to communicate this to the American people, that slashing the corporate tax rate is best for middle-class Americans, that they're going to be able to emphasize the money that it is saving the country, that it is saving the average American.
But what if it doesn't? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if companies pour that, and they're free to do this, pour it back into buying stock or doing that sort of thing? Hadley, would that be deemed a failure then? Would people deem this, wait a minute, that we thought they were going to hire workers or pay them more with this, and they're not doing that?
Oh, absolutely. Just as when President Obama made promises that his policies ultimately couldn't keep, that was deemed a failure for his agenda. I think the same thing could happen here, but I seriously doubt that would be the case, Neil, given that allowing greater competition for labor with the results of a corporate tax rate cut. We've seen this in other countries when they've reduced their corporate tax rate, that it actually does benefit workers in the form of higher wages.
No, you're right.
And so I think that would be what happens
but
here.
You're right. It does happen in all cases. You know, Allie, I'm just curious how you think the president is doing at selling this.
Well, you mentioned earlier his tweets. He doesn't really set himself up well for this when he's criticizing Jeff Flake and John McCain and even some of the top Democratic leadership. So to your point, he might have written The Art of the Deal, but how well is he actually doing at applying his own words? I'm not sure. And I think that he is going to have a results-focused presidency or a results-judged presidency. And so whether or not this passes.
You got to have results. Allie, final word?
Exactly. So we're going to see.
All right. Hadley, thank you as well.